Redox titration number 14, the link to the questions in the description of the video. Okay, so make a start. So we've got all this information here, and then we've got a calculation to do to calculate the percentage of copper by mass in the alloy. So the first thing I want to do is draw out my usual little diagram of what's happening in the experiment. Okay, so I'll quickly run through this and then we'll get into the calculation. So they've taken this alloy. Now the mass was given in milligrams. You can see I've put that into grams. So it's dropped into some acid, and all of the copper in the alloy reacts to form copper 2 plus ions. That's then fed into a 250 centimetre cube volumetric flask, and obviously made up to the mark. And then 25 is taken out. Some potassium iodide is added, and that's obviously generated the iodine. And then the iodine is being titrated with the sodium thiosulfate solution in the burette. And we've got a titrate of 9 centimetres cubed, and the concentration of the sodium thiosulfate is 0.08 moles per decimetre cubed. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is work out the moles of thiosulfate using the titration. So that's just concentration times volume, but remember the volume's got to be put into decimeters cubed, 7.2 times 10 to the minus 4. Next thing we'll do is we half that because of the 2-to-1 ratio between the thiosulfate and the iodine in the titration equation. So the moles of iodine that must have been present is going to be that there. Next thing we do is jump into this equation here because this iodine is this iodine. Look at the mole ratio now. So to get the moles of copper 2 plus in the 25 cm cubed sample, we basically double it back. So we go back to that 7.2 times 10 to the minus 4. Next thing we do is multiply by 10 because we want to find out how many moles of copper 2 plus were in the 250 centimeters cubed. Now that's also going to be equal to the moles of copper in the original alloy. So you can see I've written that there. Moles of Cu2 plus in 250 cm cubed and alloy is 7.2 times 10 to the minus 3. So it's basically 10 times that one. So the mass of copper in the alloy is the moles multiplied by the MR of copper, so that many grams there. So the percentage of copper is going to be that mass divided by the mass of the alloy times 100. So the calculator values looking like that, and the appropriate number of significant figures given all the data is 3, which means the percentage copper is 46.4. Moving on to part 2, so we've got to suggest 2 ways the student could reduce the percentage uncertainty measurement in the volume of thiosulfate solution, but they've got to use the same apparatus. So basically what they need to do is try and get the titra bigger. It was only 9 in the experiment, so what's going to make the titra get bigger? They could either use a lower concentration of sodium thiosulfate, or they could use more of the alloy. Number 3, state the role of iodine in the reaction with sodium thiosulfate. Well, there's the equation there. Let's just think about what's happened to the iodine. It's gone from oxidation state 0, so as the element, to -1. So the iodine's been reduced, which means it's acting as an oxidizing agent. Number 4, give the full electron configuration of a copper 2 ion. Well, the first thing I'll do is give the atoms configuration, and then we'll change it to copper 2 plus. Now remember, copper's one of the funny ones. Copper and chromium have this 4s1 configuration. So copper in the atom form is 4s1 3d10. So copper 2 plus, we need to lose the 4s electrons first, and then this is going to go down to 3d9 because we need to lose 2 altogether. So there's the answer there. Moving on to number 5, so we're told copper 1 iodide is a white solid. Explain why copper 1 iodide is white. So you'll notice I've written up the electron configuration for the copper 1 plus ion now, and I've highlighted the reason why it's got no colour. So we just need to say that copper 1 plus has a 3d10 configuration, therefore it can't absorb visible light. And finally part 6, so we've got an ideal gas calculation. So we've got to calculate the volume in cubic centimetres 5 grams of iodine would occupy under these conditions. So the first thing we need to do is work out how many moles of iodine we've got. So it's just mass over MR, but just be careful. Remember, iodine exists as a diatomic molecule, so the MR is 253.8. So that's 0.0197 moles of iodine. We bring in the ideal gas equation and then rearrange it to make V the subject. So we've got nRT over P, and now we just need to put our numbers in. So there's the moles, 8.31 for the gas constant. Now, if you do an OCR, you'll be putting 8.314 there, but we're still going to get the same answer to 3 significant figures, so it's not going to make a difference to the final answer. Temperature needs to be in Kelvin. They've given it in degrees Celsius, so we just add 273 onto that, so 458 there. And the pressure needs to be in pascals. We've got it in kilopascals in the question, so 100,000 pascals. So the volume's coming out at 7.498 times 10 to the minus 4 meters cubed. Remember, volume in the ideal gas equation is in meters cubed. We've got to put it in centimeters cubed, so we need to multiply by 1,000,000, or 10 to the 6, which to 3 significant figures gives 750 centimeters cubed.